Okay, welcome back to the bar in Ontario, Canada. I'm Sergeant Mercy, and this is the fifth YouTube game that we're going to be trying. This is not a solo game this time. My friend Mr. Mister and I have agreed to play a game, although we have negotiated a rather extensive set of custom rules. This is going to be a hybrid game of some BBR, some out of box, and some brand new stuff. So just before we actually get into the game, I wanted to go over all of our house rules and such. Some of them are from the game, the 1939 custom setup that we played last time. That's still available on the channel. We're using regular turn order for BBR, so that means Canada is involved. So Germany, Russia, Japan, United States, China, UK. UK, however, is a split economy. US isn't, but UK is a split economy. It's not the BBR rule about, you can spend a maximum of $20. It's a straight up split economy, just like out of box. Then Anzac, Canada, France. Victory conditions: Axis, 8 victory cities on the Europe map or 6 victory cities on Pacific map, as long as at least one Axis capital is still in Axis hands. Allies: Berlin, Rome, and Tokyo captured, and at least one Allied capital still in Allied hands, so that's out of box victory conditions. The map rules. The house rules that we're using, we are using the graduated factory system, although we have a few little wrinkles this time that have to do with new railroad stuff. So we have military base for $9. They can produce 2 infantry or 1 transport. A minor factory for $15 can produce 3 units. A major factory for $20 can produce 5 units. An industrial complex for $30 can produce 10 units. Upgrades: if you have a factory, you can upgrade it to the next level for 10. Every time an area with a factory is captured, the factory drops a level. So if there's just a military base in the area, it is destroyed. Battleships and cruisers have first strike offshore shots. There is no defense against this except for countries with the next rule: pillboxes. Pillboxes are $4. And you can have as many pillboxes as the country has economic value. Each pillbox gives 2 infantry plus 1 on defense, negates offshore shot first strike. They can be bombed, and they are unusable at 2 damaged. They are destroyed. The pillboxes are destroyed if the territory is captured. Radar towers can be purchased for 5. That's plus 1 on all bombing defense, plus 1 fighter on the scramble. They can be bombed up to 4 damage. They're unusable at 2. They are destroyed if the territory is captured. We're using the wolf pack rule. So if only for Germany, though. If Germany has 4 subs participating in an attack, 3 of them attack at plus 1. The AA guns, this is a new wrinkle. They can now only fire at 1 plane instead of 3, but they fire... Hang on. Okay, sorry, just a bit of an interruption there. AA guns, slightly different rules for these. They can now only fire at 1 plane at a time instead of 3, but they do get to fire at the start of each combat round, not just once, as long as there are other non-AA ground units in the territory. Also, AA guns are always active, so planes flying over territories with AA, either during combat or non-combat, are going to get shot at. The other house rules are different texts, and we'll talk about those in a sec. Here's what we are using from BBR. We're using the initial setup. So everything on the board is set up the way it's set up in BBR, although we're not using the BBR map. We're using the old out-of-box map. All factories are railroads, but we have a different wrinkle on this. Different factories have different railroad capabilities. So... the number of ground units equal to the value of the territory can move up to 3 spaces through friendly territory during non-combat, and allies can use those as well. But that's only for industrial complexes. Major factories can rail 1 less unit than the territory value and a maximum of 2 non-infantry ground units. Minor factories can rail 1 less than that territory value and only infantry, and military bases can rail 1 infantry only. We are using the paired transports defense, except only in situations where there are other surface warships in the water. If all the surface warships are killed, the transports do not defend, regardless of how many there are. Cruisers are paired with battleships, and they defend at 4 rather than 3. We're keeping the battleship and carrier defend at half strength if they're damaged, but we are removing some of the other stuff. If Germany hits 53 IPCs, Argentina and Chile become pro-Axis instead of strict neutral. Russia gets to use the Trans-Siberia Railroad. They can pay 2 IPCs when at war to move their factories. They get Lend-Lease using the BBR chart. Strat bombers can act as transports for up to 2 infantry. They defend at 0 until they reset. However, the wrinkle we've added for the house rules is if they're moving during non-combat, they can only go from airbase to airbase. So that's a little wrinkle. Canada is a separate power as in BBR, and all of the national objectives are in effect where applicable. I mean, there's a couple that won't be the same because the map is slightly different. We're not using the AA on the battleships, the resources, the oil. We're not using target select. We're not using BBR tech. There's no cavalry or tanks or anything like that for China. And the biggest difference is the tech chart. And we'll show you what that looks like over here. And certain countries start with tech. So if you watch the 1939 video, it's very similar, although we do have some new wrinkles. So this is the tech chart. All thumbs tonight with the camera. Okay, so the tech chart's a little bit different. Heavy artillery, rockets, improved production, jet fighters, propaganda, and the new one is heavy tanks. Tanks attack at a 4 and defend at a 3, but they can take 2 hits if defending, not if attacking. They can only reset damage if they're in a territory with a friendly factory or military base. Damaged tanks attack at 3 and defend at 2. The second tech chart, super subs, detection radar, nautical engineering, long-range aircraft, super carriers, and heavy bombers. Those are similar to some of the ones that you might have seen before. But the countries start with different tech. So Germany starts with heavy tanks and super subs. Russia starts with heavy artillery and improved production. Japan starts with super carriers. Italy starts with propaganda. The UK, but not Canada, starts with detection radar. Anzac starts with long-range aircraft. Canada and France don't start with any tech. The American tech rules are a little bit different. They don't start with any tech, but every turn they can choose to spend $10 and get any tech that another country already has. And they can do this for the first 4 rounds. And then they can buy tech normally if they want to. So any additional techs are done just like out-of-box rules. You can buy dice and try and roll for it. So that's all the changes. I'm going to be playing the Axis in this game. So the first turn will be Germany 1, and that'll be in the next video. So here we go.